Glenn Kosarog is unique in this age of big-name pharmacy chains. Not far from downtown Chicago, he runs an old-fashioned drugstore, complete with Fannie Mae candies.
I've been here all my life. I love this job. I know most of my customers. I don't want to leave.
2 hours to the west, Luke Vanderbleek owns this pharmacy in rural Morrison.
We tend to know people for their lives in these small towns, and we know not just them, but their children and their parents and their cousins and their aunts.
For the last 4 years, these two pharmacists have been facing off against the state of Illinois. In 2005, Governor Rod Blagojevich issued an executive order overturning one of the country's strongest conscience protection laws in Illinois. Overnight, Vanderbleek and Kosarog face losing their license if they refuse to stock and dispense over-the-counter emergency contraception. For pro-life pharmacists, the difficulty centers around a morning-after pill. It's called Plan B. Now, Plan B is designed to prevent fertilization, but it can also prevent the implantation of a fertilized egg.
These pharmacists are not trying to stop any physician who wants to give out this drug from giving it out. They're not trying to stop any woman who wants to take this drug from taking the drug. They're just saying, I can't in good conscience be a part of it. I can't sell that drug here. Please go down the street and please don't put me out of business. But pro-choice groups argue that it's not always easy to go down the street, especially for low-income and rural women. And Plan B is time-sensitive. It must be taken within 3 days of unprotected sex, and the sooner the better. Here in Chicago, a woman who can't get Plan B at Glenn Kosarog's pharmacy only needs to go down the street a couple of blocks to find a place of business that will help her. But here in rural Morrison, it's more difficult. Luke Vanderbleek's pharmacy is the only one in town. The nearest pharmacy is 10 miles away.
I don't make it my business to know who stocks it or who dispenses it, but I do know from just reading that most of the chain drugstores haven't had any issue with it.
Groups like the National Women's Law Center are tracking pharmacists like Vanderbleek and Kosarog. When it comes to Plan B, they believe women can easily become the victims. That's the idea, they say, behind this cartoon on their website.
Women are sometimes humiliated, yelled at, proselytized to, and otherwise have to leave the pharmacy humiliated without their prescription filled.
44 states currently provide some form of conscience protection, but recent moves by the Obama administration have worried many healthcare providers.
You have some states that are passing new protective conscience regulations, but then you also have some states that are passing regulations to say, if you own a pharmacy, you better sell Plan B.
Groups like the Women's Law Center are more concerned with patient rights. But in an interview with CBN News, Judy Waxman said they try to respect the balance of rights for both patients and pro-life pharmacists.
If they're not providing any contraceptives at all, and the public knows, well, that's fine. But to have people come into the pharmacy under false pretenses that they can get their prescriptions filled and then not be able to, that's a problem for the patient.
Saying no to a patient means diplomacy for both Vanderbleek and Kosarog.
We respectfully and compassionately and confidentially return the prescription to the patient and just inform them that we don't stock it and that we don't order the product.
I've never had anybody get upset with me. They're very scared at that point, I think, a lot of the young ladies, and they're wanting to just get it, to get it over with.
Both acknowledge not everyone in their community agrees with them.
It should be available to anyone who desires to purchase medicine like that.
I think he should sell it, but if he doesn't feel like it, it's his own choice.
But there's no turning back for these two pharmacy owners.
I sleep real good at night, real good at night. My wife can tell you.
If the government says that Luke Vanderbleek can't enter his pharmacy with a moral conscience and do what my heart and the spirit tells me to do with good conscience, I won't be a pharmacist anymore in this state.
If they lose this battle, both Vanderbleek and Kosarog are prepared to give up their profession or move to a more friendly state. But most likely, their case will drag on for several more years.
Hi, Ruby. How are you doing?
So for now, they continue to sleep well and enjoy the communities where they feel called.
The real pleasure is to see the outcome, to see people, recover, do better, manage their health, grow old.
Reporting from Illinois, Heather Sells, CBN News.